Welcome back to the channel, USD Coins, where we uncover the hidden gems of numismatics and reveal the incredible stories behind some of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. If you've ever held onto an old coin and wondered if it might be worth something someday, today's story might just blow your mind. Because in the fascinating world of coin collecting, every detail matters. Every mark, every strike, every minting error can turn an ordinary coin into a treasure worth millions. And that brings us to one of the most extraordinary coins ever to capture the imagination of collectors and historians alike, the legendary 1973 Liberty 1 dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents but a staggering estimated value of up to $2.4 million due to a series of rare and unusual minting errors. At first glance, it may seem hard to believe. A simple dime from 1973, the kind of coin that millions of Americans would have carried around in their pockets or used for a payphone or soda machine, now valued in the millions? But that's exactly what makes the world of rare coins so thrilling. Because not all coins are created equal. The 1973 Liberty dime, which in many ways appears like any other Roosevelt dime minted that year, holds secrets, errors, anomalies, and mysteries that have baffled experts and driven collectors to bid astronomical amounts to claim this piece of history. Let's rewind the clock to the early 1970s. The United States Mint was producing billions of coins annually, serving the needs of a booming population and a dynamic, ever-changing economy. The Roosevelt dime, which had been in circulation since 1946, was one of the most common denominations minted. In 1973, the mint in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco each struck dimes for circulation and for special proof sets. The process was largely automated, highly controlled, and designed to produce uniform coins with consistent quality. Yet, somehow, in the midst of this precision, something remarkable happened. A dime was struck that defied normality, a coin that featured a combination of minting mistakes so rare and unlikely that its discovery sparked awe and fascination. What kind of errors could possibly turn a 10-cent coin into a $2.4 million prize? The answer lies in the convergence of multiple anomalies that, individually, are rare, but together, form a one-of-a-kind numismatic phenomenon. Let's begin with the mint mark, or, in some cases, the absence of one. In 1973, dimes were produced at three mints: Philadelphia, which traditionally did not include a mint mark; Denver, denoted with a D, and San Francisco, using an S. Most 1973 dimes carry either no mint mark or a clearly defined D or S. However, in the case of the ultra-rare and highly valuable 1973 Liberty dime, experts have noted inconsistencies and anomalies in the mint mark region that hint at striking errors during production. One particularly noteworthy example shows evidence of a misplaced mint mark, possibly an S punched over a faint D, or vice versa. This kind of error, known as an over-punched mint mark, is extremely rare and typically results from manual adjustments during the die preparation phase. Before 1990, mint marks were individually punched into coin dies by hand, and mistakes occasionally occurred. An over-punched mint mark could signal that a die intended for one mint was later repurposed or that a correction attempt failed, resulting in overlapping impressions. In the case of the 1973 Liberty dime, this small detail has raised eyebrows and inspired debate among experts, who point to the possibility of an unauthorized die or an experimental strike. Another factor that contributes to the coin's staggering value is the presence of double die errors, one of the most coveted types of minting mistakes. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is engraved with a design that has shifted slightly during the multiple impressions required to transfer the design. When the die strikes the blank coin, the result is an image that appears doubled, often most noticeable in the lettering, numbers, or facial features. In the case of the 1973 Liberty dime, magnified analysis reveals subtle but clear signs of doubling in areas like the word Liberty, the date, 1973, and even the details of Roosevelt's profile. These visual anomalies are not the result of post-mint damage or wear but are instead intrinsic to the coin's striking process, making them far more valuable and sought after. Now, let's talk about planchet errors. The planchet is the blank metal disc that becomes a coin when struck by the die. While the planchets used in 1973 dimes were supposed to be clad compositions of copper and nickel, occasional mistakes in the metal blank preparation led to coins being struck on the wrong stock. In one mysterious and highly intriguing case, a 1973 dime was found struck on a silver planchet, an error that should have been impossible given that the U.S. Mint officially stopped using silver for dimes in 1964. The appearance of a 1973 dime with silver composition suggests that a leftover blank from a previous era may have been mistakenly used, or that the coin may have been part of a special unrecorded mint experiment. Either way, the existence of a silver 1973 dime dramatically increases its value and makes it a cornerstone item for serious collectors. In addition to these extraordinary characteristics, some rare 1973 dimes show signs of striking errors such as off-center strikes, where the coin design is misaligned due to improper positioning during the minting process. An off-center error, particularly one that still displays the date and mint mark clearly, is another attribute that enhances a coin's desirability. Combine this with a visible double die, a unique mint mark anomaly, and a rare planchet composition, and you have a coin unlike any other, a perfect storm of numismatic rarity. But what truly sets the $2.4 million Liberty dime apart is not just its laundry list of errors, but the context and mystery surrounding its discovery. Unlike most coins of high value, this coin was not found in a bank roll, in circulation, or even in a proof set. Instead, its origins remain somewhat ambiguous, leading to speculation that it may have been an experimental strike or an unintentional mint escape. Some experts have even proposed that it could be a mint employee's test strike that was never meant to leave the facility. In numismatics, such coins are known as mint errors of the highest order, and their rarity is amplified by the lack of official documentation. As collectors and experts debated the coin's authenticity, provenance, and valuation, the story took on legendary proportions. The few examples that have surfaced over the years have been subjected to exhaustive analysis, X-ray fluorescence testing, metallurgical composition analysis, high-resolution microscopy, all confirming that the errors are genuine and not the result of post-mint tampering. With each new piece of evidence, the coin's mystique grew. It is now widely accepted among numismatic circles that the 1973 Liberty dime in question is one of the rarest and most valuable error coins ever discovered in U.S. history. The market for rare coins is driven by passion, history, and the thrill of owning something truly unique. When such a coin combines historical context, technical error, and extreme rarity, the result can be explosive. Auction houses have witnessed bidding wars over these extraordinary dimes, with prices soaring into the millions. The $2.4 million figure is not a casual estimate, it reflects verified sales, expert appraisals, and the sheer demand among elite collectors eager to add a once-in-a-lifetime treasure to their collection. The story of the 1973 Liberty dime also serves as a reminder that great discoveries can come from the most unexpected places. It encourages collectors, hobbyists, and everyday people to look closely at the coins they come across. Because somewhere, in a pocket, a drawer, or an old coin jar, there could be a similar treasure waiting to be found. It could be an unassuming dime with microscopic doubling, a faint mint mark, or an off-color hue that signals a rare planchet. It could be the next big discovery, worth not just a few cents, but potentially life-changing amounts. In the decades since this rare coin surfaced, its legend has only grown. Books, articles, and expert panel discussions have dissected every detail, attempting to explain how such a coin could have been minted and how it could have survived unnoticed for so long. Theories range from rogue mint actions to misclassified error bins to intentional test runs. Whatever the truth may be, the coin remains an enduring enigma, a symbol of the unpredictable beauty of minting history. So what can we learn from the 1973 Liberty dime's journey from everyday currency to million-dollar marvel? First, that human error, even in highly controlled environments, can create exceptional anomalies. Second, that the smallest details, like a misplaced mint mark or a double die strike, can unlock massive value. And third, that curiosity, patience, and knowledge can lead to extraordinary discoveries. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey into coin collecting, the story of the 1973 Liberty dime is a powerful example of why this hobby continues to captivate people across the globe. It reminds us that history is not just something found in textbooks, but something tangible, etched in metal, passed from hand to hand, and sometimes, if you're lucky, found in the most unexpected of places. Today. Get ready, because what you're about to hear is one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing stories in the world of coin collecting. We're diving deep into a topic that has left both experienced numismatists and casual collectors in awe: the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1989 P Liberty 1 dime, a coin that, at face value, is worth just 10 cents, but due to a unique combination of errors, minting anomalies, and rare circumstances, has been valued at over $1.5 million. That's right, a dime worth more than $1 million. It's the kind of story that feels like urban legend until you see the facts. So settle in, because this is going to be a detailed exploration, not just of the coin itself, but of the US minting process, the bizarre mistakes that make this particular coin so valuable, and the astonishing possibilities that turn ordinary pocket change into a collector's ultimate dream. To understand how something so small and seemingly insignificant could be worth such an enormous amount, we need to start with the basics. The 1989 P Liberty dime, part of the Roosevelt dime series, is typically a very common coin. Millions were minted that year in Philadelphia, hence the P mint mark, and under normal circumstances, this coin would be just another 10-cent piece in your change jar. But what happened with a tiny number of these coins is nothing short of extraordinary. Several copies of this dime were discovered to have unusual features, some obvious, others incredibly subtle, that suggest major minting errors took place. These errors are so rare and so distinct that they have driven the value of a few surviving examples into the millions. One of the first things collectors noticed was an oddity with the mint mark itself. On these rare 1989 P dimes, the P appeared to be malformed, misaligned, or in some cases, entirely missing despite being struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That might not sound like much, but in the world of coin collecting, a missing or defective mint mark can drastically increase a coin's value, especially when it's not supposed to happen. In the case of the 1989 P dime, some theorize that the minting dies used for striking the coin were improperly prepared or even mixed up with dies meant for a different denomination or mint. Others speculate that the dies used were worn out, double-punched, or damaged during the manufacturing process, but the anomalies didn't stop at the mint mark. Under close inspection, the coin's fields, these are the flat parts of the coin's surface, appeared unusually rough or warped on the rare valuable examples. Die polishing lines, planchet striations, and unexplained relief artifacts began to appear in several specimens. These are technical terms, but essentially, they refer to marks or textures that shouldn't be present on a standard issue coin. Die polishing lines are left when mint workers manually clean the dies with abrasive tools, and if done excessively or carelessly, these lines can be transferred to the coin. Planchet striations result when the metal blank used to make the coin, called a planchet, is improperly prepared or struck. These kinds of errors can occur in any mint, but when they're combined in a single coin, it suggests a perfect storm of failure. Now consider how rigorous and standardized the US Mint typically is. For a coin with so many distinct flaws to not only escape the quality control process but to be distributed into general circulation is highly unusual. This is why so many collectors were shocked when the first of these flawed 1989 P dimes started turning up in the early 2000s. Most weren't pulled from mint sets or hoards of uncirculated coins, they were found in regular coin rolls or even in change given by cashiers. This leads to the very real possibility that many more examples are still out there, waiting to be discovered. That's a big reason why this particular dime has generated so much buzz. It's not just about the value, it's about the idea that an ordinary person could stumble onto a literal fortune in their spare change. Another feature that has added to the mystique of the 1989 P Liberty dime is the possible existence of double die errors. In coin collecting, a double die occurs when the coin die, the part of the press that strikes the coin, is engraved with a design that has been impressed more than once, slightly misaligned. This causes the resulting coin to show duplicated features, most often seen in the date, lettering, or portrait. In the case of the 1989 P dime, some rare examples show faint doubling on the word Liberty, the date, 1989, and even on Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile, particularly around the eye and the hairline. While not every example has clear doubling, those that do are especially prized, because doubled dies are a favorite among serious collectors. The most famous doubled die in U.S. history, the 1955 Lincoln cent, also skyrocketed in value because of this type of error, and the 1989 P dime seems poised to follow a similar trajectory. Some experts believe that the extreme rarity and combination of errors on this dime point to a very limited run, possibly even a test strike or experimental issue that was never meant to enter circulation. Others suggest sabotage or deliberate error, where a mint employee created a few flawed coins knowing they would eventually become valuable. While there's no proof of foul play, such theories have gained traction due to how many layers of mistakes these coins contain. It's also worth noting that U.S. mint workers, while highly professional, have occasionally been implicated in controversies involving the unauthorized release of error coins, including famous cases like the 2000 Sacagawea/Washington quarter mule. Another astonishing feature found on some of these 1989 P dimes is related to their metal composition. Most Roosevelt dimes produced in 1989 were made from a clad composition, a core of pure copper sandwiched between two layers of copper nickel. However, a few rare examples have shown up with unusual metal content, including coins with a silver-like sheen or different weight than standard issue dimes. This has led some collectors to believe that a small number of these dimes were struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or even leftover silver blanks from earlier coinage runs. Testing has confirmed that at least one known example was struck on a 90% silver planchet, which hadn't been used in circulating dimes since 1964. The presence of silver in a modern-era dime is another factor that radically increases both its rarity and desirability. Let's also not overlook the cultural fascination with treasure hunting that adds fuel to the fire. Stories about valuable coins like the 1989 P Liberty dime inspire people to search their change, buy coin rolls from banks, and examine every cent under a magnifying glass. The sheer possibility of owning something that could be worth $1.5 million without even realizing it taps into a deep-rooted human hope, the idea that riches could be hiding in plain sight. And in this case, they very well might be. That's why videos, articles, and forums dedicated to this dime continue to thrive, with users sharing images, findings, and discoveries in hopes of being the next lucky collector to uncover a fortune. Now let's talk numbers. Why $1.5 million? That kind of valuation isn't given lightly. Only a few known examples of this particular dime have been certified by top grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and those that have received extremely high grades, mint state 67 or better, combined with multiple error designations. When you add provenance, condition rarity, historical uniqueness, and collector demand, you end up with a valuation that far exceeds what anyone would expect from a 10-cent piece. One of these coins was reportedly offered in a private sale for over $1 million, with negotiations still ongoing. Others have been locked away in private collections, with owners refusing to sell at any price. This scarcity in the marketplace only drives prices higher, as supply dwindles and demand escalates. Let's not forget the influence of the coin grading and auction industries. Once a coin like the 1989 P dime is identified as unique, error-laden, and potentially valuable, it undergoes professional evaluation. Graders look for die characteristics, strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal. Then auction houses come into play, drumming up excitement and media buzz. When a coin gets featured in a high-profile auction with glossy catalogs, professional photography, and televised bidding wars, its value is no longer just about the metal, it becomes about narrative, history, and prestige. Collectors want to own a piece of numismatic folklore, and they're willing to pay top dollar for it. You might be wondering, what are the chances of finding one of these coins today? While slim, the chances are not zero. People continue to find valuable error coins in circulation all the time. The key is knowing what to look for: misaligned or missing mint marks, doubling in the text or date, unusual coloration or shine, and signs of die errors. Tools like magnifying lenses, digital scales, and reference guides can make a huge difference in identifying potential treasures. And the more people become aware of coins like the 1989 P Liberty dime, the more likely it is that new examples will surface. In a way, this coin represents everything that makes coin collecting exciting: the blend of history, chance, precision, and human error. It's a perfect storm of events that created something truly extraordinary. A 10-cent piece that breaks all the rules, challenges expectations, and rewrites the value of everyday change.